Welcome back to another episode of the My Latin Life podcast, your trusted guide to traveling and living in Latin America. My guest today is Paco de la India. He's an Indian national who's been living on Bitcoin, traveling the world on Bitcoin, and he has a YouTube channel documenting his adventures. He's got 357 videos at the time of this recording, and he's been everywhere in Latin America, Mexico, El Salvador, Dominican, Jamaica, the list goes on, spending Bitcoin and having fun with it. So, Paco, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much for having me. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Um, yeah, I guess to kick things off, I'll mention that I was watching one of your videos and I saw that you were running around town in Querétaro, Mexico with Magic from Bit Refill,
Mm-hmm.
former previous podcast guest, and
Uh-huh.
some of the Bit Refill guys. So that was cool.
Yep, man. It's a nice little town, Querétaro. It's a very sleepy. I guess it's a more into mining, and those boys were living there. There's all the magic. They were the three boys from Montreal, and they had left after like the COVID time, and they
Hmm.
had just come here. And yeah, we hosted a nice Bitcoin meetup with them while it was raining also, and got to eat a lot of tacos and tamales. That was really good. Querétaro and San Miguel de Allende too. Yes, these are the two cities
Yeah, I
that.
saw you were in San Miguel with Andrew Howard, who has also been on the podcast as well.
Yeah. Oh, nice. That's good, man. Andrew is great, man. He's a father, I suppose.
Yeah, I believe so. So shout out to Andrew.
Yeah, man. He's a great guy. A gold maxi, I would say. A Bitcoin turned a gold maxi turned into a Bitcoin maxi.
And just to give people an idea, so your most recent videos, it's like kite surfing for Bitcoin, windsurfing for Bitcoin in the Dominican Republic. You're using Bitcoin for all these everyday things and documenting your journey. So maybe we'll just start with that to give people an idea. How does one go windsurfing in the Dominican Republic and pay with Bitcoin? How does that work?
There are, as of now, there are a couple of places in Cabarete, which is in the north, and on the other side of the island, the Las Terrenas, which is mostly a lot of French people hanging out there. So these are the two places where I found two shops, and one of the Cabarete guy is a Russian guy, so he moved here when the war started, and he knows how to use crypto, Bitcoin, USDT. So he was, and I was staying in his hostel, and I got to talk to him about my journey, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, I can accept Bitcoin." And I was surprised to see that, okay, I'm the first one in his hostel to do that. So that was in Cabarate. And the other person in Las Terrenas, he has like a Bitcoin crypto OTC desks. That means people can walk in, buy some crypto or sell some crypto and walk away with cash. And he's a kite surfer. So he had a school down there, and he let me get a lesson out there, which is basically you playing with your thumbs and your fingers. Kite surfing is not that really challenging. It is playing if you get the wind. This is what I understood in my one class. With your fingers, you can move around. Literally two fingers. Who handles the entire uh, pressure of the atmosphere at that very moment. Your kite is flying up, and yeah, man, he accepted Bitcoin, and I got to make videos with them. So yes, there are places, I think so. Dominican Republic was one country which was really open. It was like an open free market that let people and tourists come in and go as they like. They did not have any strict laws against foreigners, which let in a lot of inflow of capital as compared to their neighbors Haiti. So Haiti and Dominican are on the same island. The other half, one was led by the French and the other by the Spanish. And as you can see, Dominican Republic is like a safe haven for a lot of Americans to park their wealth to. So yes, a lot of easy capital laws and a lot of freedom to use uh, the new money called Bitcoin.
And did you go to Haiti? I think I saw a Haiti
Yeah.
video.
Yes, yes, I did go to Haiti. I was there for about 5 days. That's the shortest visit I've done to any country. Man,
That's a long
yeah.
time for Haiti.
Yeah, man, that country is the first country to get independence in the entire region. That country is the first one to abolish slavery because the slaves took over the island. And now that country is the worst country that suffers with double debts. It has so many debts to pay off, and it is pretty much doomed. And then the mother nature also hasn't been kind with them, with tsunamis and earthquakes. So yeah, man, that was a really tough one. Apparently they killed their president. The president ran away. It is in chaos. It is in chaos, that little country.
Hmm.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty cool that you went to Haiti. I definitely respect that.
Won't do it
And
again.
you managed to spend you managed to spend Bitcoin in Haiti?
Nope, nope, man. Haiti was one place. Since I do not speak French and they speak Pidgin or the broken English they have, I forget the dialect what they use. I wasn't. I was there for 2 days in Cape Haitian when the on the second night I heard gunshots right outside my hostel. So next morning at 5 a.m. I departed. I was advised to not take bus, so because since being a foreigner I could be kidnapped. But I got through to the northern city. I forget what's the name of the northern city. That was pretty much safe. I could have fun, but Haiti shuts down at like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Everything shuts down. So I ran from this city to the other city, and from there I crossed the borders into Dominican Republic. I felt more safer in the northern city. I do not remember the name. I apologize. But that country, man, uh, yeah, man. It is so green. It used to be the epitome. It used to have all the agriculture, sugarcane, coffee, name it. Everything used to come from there, and they just got tied up in this debt spiral with the French. Like, let me just tell you, since you asked about Haiti. So when Haiti got independence, right, the slaves took over. They were like, "Hey, we are free." The French were like, "Hey, we have lost so much money, so you owe us money. You owe us 100 million francs." The Haitians were like, "We do not have the 100 million francs." So the French government was like, "Don't worry, here's the French bank. So take a loan from the French bank to pay the French government." So now they were taking a loan from the French bank to pay the French government. And since there was no more money in the country, this caused more, a lot of chaos. Over 7 or 9 presidents have changed in the period of 10, 20 years. Then the United States of America interfered in the 1940s. They took over the country and they also have to pay a debt to the Americans. So it's just a debt spiral that this country will not get out from. Like there's nobody can. I think so. This
Yeah, I
is.
think
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
they paid it off or something, but it took like 200 years for Haiti to pay off the debt to France or something like that.
Yeah,
I could be wrong on the
I mean,
numbers,
they're
but
still
something like that.
paying.
Like they were paying it for over 100 years.
They're still paying. They're still paying. Like, imagine for 200 years, I am
Jeez.
going to drain out your entire house. Every money that you make, you do not take it to your house for your own people, but you keep giving out to people. So it just caused a lot of chaos in the country, man. And even the secret service that was made to protect the police has now become a mafia and has taken over the country. So even the military is scared to go in there. It's like that.
Yeah. Well, I would love to kind of switch gears and get a little bit of your background and how you got into this,
Mhm.
Paco, because obviously there's not a lot of Indians, especially Indian nationals, running around Latin America spending Bitcoin. So I'd love to kind of hear the story about how you got into all this.
Man, I have been a hustler. I think so. I'll give you a quick rundown. I quit my job in 2015 because the travel bug hit me, and I was really fascinated with the Latin culture. So I went around hitchhiking from United States to Argentina. So I got a little idea of how the Latin culture works. Fast forward in back, I came back to India. I was working around trying to make ends meet and move forward. Fast forward, I came down to 2021. This was in August. It was a full moon night, and I got a call from a friend. He asked me, asking like, "Do I want to travel the world using Bitcoin?" And I was like, "Wait a minute. Yes, I want to travel the world, but what is Bitcoin?" He suggested me the book, The Bitcoin Standard. It took me I think so, 4 days to finish the book, which really taught me the basic principles of economics, that is free market and hard money. And in 1971, thanks to Richard Nixon, we abolished the gold standard and we moved towards the paper fiat currency that is not being backed by any gold. And
Hmm.
coming from India, we worship gold. Every house has a gold, everybody has gold. And just to see that my money is just being devalued by some country that is printing money out of thin air, in this case, United States of America, I was surprised and I was like, okay, this is the money of the future. This has a hard cap of 21 million bitcoins. And let us just see whether this can be done. On my research, I found out there was only one person who did it. His name was Felix Huis. He had traveled in 2015 when there was no lightning network also. That is, you couldn't do instant payments. You had to wait for 10 minutes to half an hour to an hour for the payment to get confirmed. I looked at his
Wow.
data and I saw, yes, it is possible. He did about 27 countries back then. And I was like, fair enough. I have enough data. And thanks to Bitrefill, you can easily buy gift vouchers around the world by using Bitcoin. So yes, I was able to use Bitrefill to buy food vouchers or Uber vouchers, use Travala.com to buy my flight tickets or hotel vouchers using Bitcoin. There's Cheapware, and then there was a lot of Bitcoin community around the world that came across. So I was able to do P2P trades in almost all the countries that I visited. And this all started from this random idea from my friend who asked me to travel the world, given that I have the travel background in my life. So yeah, that's how I started, man.
And how are you getting this Bitcoin to spend it? What are you doing to make money?
Yes, my entire so similarly the same question I asked my friend too. I'm like, how will I get the Bitcoin? Is like this is going to be a proof of work journey. You're going to travel around and you're going to keep reporting on Twitter, and the community will be supporting you. At first, I thought this is a crazy idea. Why would the people give me money to travel the world? This is ridiculous. This is not possible. But my dear friend, I traveled 42 countries in over 800 days, and all was crowd funded by the community. That means random donations used to come from people from around the world, from people who wanted to travel or who wanted this journey to succeed. And they keep sending me Bitcoin. I did lose my phone two, three times, but since I had my own keys, I could recover my Bitcoins. As they say, not your keys, not your coins. So thanks to the community, this journey was really possible because they supported me with their hard-earned sats.
Hmm. I'm just curious how much money you think, or how many sats you think you've been donated over the past couple of
I,
years?
in dollar terms, at the current stage, I think it's about $50,000 was given to me altogether at current stage. So about a Bitcoin, you could say.
Wow.
Yeah, that would over a period of 2 years to finish this entire journey. Yep. That came in like random. One sats used to come, two sats, three sats, $100 of Bitcoin or $500. So anything random used to come. It used to like just pop up like a message. Some sats have been received. And it was a constant proof of work, I guess. If I wouldn't be reporting regularly or sharing with the people of how Bitcoin is used, for example, the Cuban story came really good, where a country like Cuba, which is communist, and that's all the media shows us. But once you go down there, there are about 15 businesses that accept Bitcoin. There is a community of 100 odd people, and Cubans have seen 99% of their wealth being deteriorated or devalued in over 2 years time. Like $1 was 25
Hmm.
Cuban pesos, and when I was there, $1 was like 200 Cuban pesos. Like, what do you do, man? So that's where people were using some Bitcoin down there too. So that was really nice to see in such countries. That's where I felt like the real use case, like of Bitcoin. Like Cuba was the first country to have the railways, and in that Caribbean region, and they might be the first one to use Bitcoin as things are opening up and private sectors are allowed to thrive. So there is no more communist vibes. It's opening up slowly and gradually.
Hmm. And I know there's sort of like a GoFundMe for crypto, right? Like they have like platforms like that. Were you
Mhm.
using a sort of GoFundMe type of platform, or do you just put the address out there, or how did you kind of get the word out, advertise what you're doing, and ultimately receive the money?
The first thing I did was, as soon as this idea came, I read the book, I made a video, and my friend, an Indian friend, he did a tweet, and on basis of that tweet, I finally figured out what is Twitter. So I was like, wow, okay, this is something nice. I moved away from Instagram and I started sending DMs. I sent about 1,000 DMs over the network of LinkedIn and Twitter, and about 45 people responded to me. So that's 4.5% hit ratio. Out of those 45
Hmm.
people, couple of them supported me in the start. I sold my furniture, and then I regularly kept on making tweets. I think so properly. It just I kept doing this for the first 3 4 months until I went international, and then one of my tweets went viral of a key maker, the guys who make duplicate keys for you, Javero.
Hmm.
Though that guy accepted Bitcoin from me. That was very random. I didn't expect that. So I had lost my house keys, I had lost my hotel room keys, and this guy made it, and he accepted Bitcoin on his Binance wallet, and that was amazing. And that tweet went viral, like about 1,000 plus people liked it and all. And from there, slowly guys, I and this entire funding that I was receiving through BTC based server. That was, I was running my own node, and I was managing the liquidity channels, and I was receiving Bitcoin on my own node. So BTC Pay Server lets you do that. You can integrate anything with BTC Pay Server. It can be a shop also. You don't need to be a crowdfund. And then in the second half of the journey, that is the Latin American journey, I shifted to Geyser Fund, or Geyser Fund, however you pronounce. On Geyser Fund, they let me. I do not have to run my node, and any Bitcoin
Hmm.
used to come. It used to come straight to my Lightning wallet. So there were these crowdfunding pages like GoFundMe, which is like fiat, like you can use your cards, but on Geyser you could only use Bitcoin. So I think so. As such, if from the crypto community, if anybody had to donate to me my cause, they had to convert to Bitcoin to donate to my cause. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. And at the time of this recording, you have over 16,000 followers on Twitter, which is really, really good. And it looks like there's an address like right there in your bio.
Hmm.
That's like a Bitcoin address where people can send to you.
Yes, and if you look at that address, there won't be anything because that address is visible. But I haven't received anything on that address in 2.5 years of this of my journey, which I finished on December 6th. So yeah,
So what do you mean you haven't received anything on that one? So you're
on
receiving
this
it,
address,
it like
on what happened?
it's not working.
No, it is working. Even you can send me Bitcoin on this. Anybody can send it. It's like a tip jar. Like in United States of America, people use this as a tip option. But as of now, I haven't received
Right.
anything. Like I'm on the mempool where, so basically you can check it the address on Blockchain Explorer, and you can get to know who has sent you Bitcoin or who hasn't sent you Bitcoin. So far nobody has exercised this option.
Okay, so there are some fundraising techniques that work better than others.
Yep, definitely, man. I mean, I'll tell you something, like to all the people who want to fundraise, do not just go focused on one segment like Bitcoin only or crypto only. I think so. There are many more people I realized will be happy to donate their fiat than to give their Bitcoin or crypto. I've noticed that. So if you are raising on a page such as like GoFundMe or something like that, what happens is people get like that tax deductible or something happens. They can claim that as an expense, most of the people, and they can use their credit cards to
Hmm.
fund your journey. So if you get freedom of
Hmm.
that, that'll be pretty cool.
This episode of the My Latin Life podcast is brought to you in part by Crema Social. Crema Social is like TikTok for international dating. It's an app you can download right now on your phone, and 3 out of 4 people on Crema are single women. The app was founded in Colombia, so unsurprisingly, there are a lot of Latinas on the app, by the way. So, how does it work? Crema Social is a social meal experience where you invite a hot girl for a lunch date via video call and food delivery. New concept, so you'll have to try it out for yourself, but this is probably the best way to meet Latinas before you visit the country. So if you're in Latin America or planning to visit Latin America, download Crema Social now and start getting dates right away. There will be a link in the description to download, or just search Crema Social on your favorite app store. Have fun, guys. This episode of the My Latin Life podcast is brought to you in part by Bit Refill. Bit Refill is the best way to spend your crypto in Latin America. Purchase gift cards or mobile refills from more than 3,500 brands in 186 countries instantly, safely, and privately. You can also apply the code MyLatinLife at checkout to get 10% back on your first purchase. Go to bitrefill.com for more information. This episode of the My Latin Life podcast is brought to you in part by Job Stacking. If you are a remote or hybrid worker looking to maximize your earning potential, then Rolf Holtze, the author of Job Stacking, guarantees you'll be able to double your income. This is the exact system Rolf has used to take his own income and those of many others beyond 20K a month. So what is job stacking? It's this idea of working multiple remote jobs. You might have heard Rolf, he's worked 5, 7, even 9 remote jobs at the same time before. And by the way, job stacking works equally well for non-technical roles. So no, it's not just for the nerds. So if you're ready to job stack, then book a discovery call with Job Stacking and see how they can double your income in just 9 weeks. In the show notes in the description, there will be a link where you can book a call directly on the Calendly of Job Stacking and be talking with them as early as tomorrow about how to double your income as quickly as possible. Okay, some good fundraising tips.
Yeah.
Maybe we can come back to that, but I was curious. You said that you finished the journey. So
Mm-hmm.
tell me about kind of what the goal was. Was there a certain number of countries, or how did you define success? How did you know when you were done?
Oh wow, man. How did I know when I was done? Okay, first, as I made the random video, I said I'll travel 40 countries in 400 days. I finished my 400 days and I had just done 22 countries. But then I went around for like 3 conferences and I got to cover 3 countries very quickly. And I was like, okay, I will go for the full 40 countries. Um, and I went for the second half. So the first half was Asia and Africa. I did 18 African countries. And then I moved into LatAm. The last 15 to 17 countries were in Latin America. And
Hmm.
as soon as I reached my target, that was on December 6, 2023, I knew I was done. But pretty much around I leaving Cuba, I pretty much keep crossing the Caribbean islands on the country number 33, 34. I was already tired, because I believe in the vision of hyper Bitcoinization, and I was seeing, only need can teach people about Bitcoin. There is nothing else that can teach anybody about Bitcoin. Like only if somebody
Need.
has need, yes, you need to need it.
Okay.
Like you cannot just be shoving Bitcoin up people's throat and saying the world is ending and Bitcoin is going to save this and Bitcoin is going to fix this. This will not help anybody. You will just drain your energy in the process. Yeah, you will go home, sleep happy that yes, you shared a happy word with somebody, but you are practically talking to a wall. So the need, and once the person has the need, the second is the access to money. Because you need to have money to buy Bitcoin. All right, if you're just making like $5 a day or $10 salary per day, you will not have that spendable money, or you will not have that money to invest or save. So first you need to have the need, second you
Hmm.
need to have the money, and third you need to have access to information. Now that access to information is something that is in English or Spanish, or in French, whereas in Africa there are 10,000 such languages. How about if I talk to the Peru people in Quechua in their language? They will understand it much more differently. Similarly, it goes in your Aztec people. They will have their regional languages. But I think so. One thing great the Spanish did was they gave everybody one language. But in India, we have 27 constitutional languages. Cambodia has so many languages. There are so many dialects. So the education, if that is there in regional language, That will help, but that will only help if the person is in need. Like if I'm thirsty, then only I'll drink water. If I'm hungry, then only I'll eat food. So I got really tired of this by the end, 32nd, 33rd, 34th, and then I was just like waiting for the finale, and I was like done with this journey. All I had to see was, yes, Bitcoin is like the ark of Noah in this world that is falling all around us, but only those who are learned jump on this arc. Otherwise, other people, I mean, the world is still moving around, right? So still everybody is living irrespective of whatever is happening. It doesn't matter you watch the Matrix or V for Vendetta or anything. uh, Everybody's still happy in their own bubble, so the world is not ending.
Hmm. Why did you do Africa?
Man, global south. So I come from India, and I was like, okay, if Bitcoin is money, let us use it in the worst possible conditions ever. Let us use Bitcoin in the global south. Exactly, man. If Bitcoin really is money, like a US dollar is fucking money. I can be deep in the jungles of Congo or Central Africa Republic, my dollar will be accepted. Now, when my Bitcoin is being accepted there, yes, I'm able to use Bitcoin. And that was the challenge. And I picked that challenge up for Africa specifically because I just went on going deeper down the rabbit hole. And I learned this. I think so. This is something that I learned. We There are 97 countries that have moved away from IMF to CMF, from International Monetary Fund to Chinese Monetary Fund. 97 countries now have debt. These countries would have collapsed by now, but it is the Chinese people who saved them and helped them. They helped build their airports for billions of dollars, roadways for
Hmm.
millions and billions, seaports, uh, bars, restaurants, casinos, monuments, name it, give them money, help them with the trade, anything and everything China did. And China has done this all around, I think so, Latin American region too. In fact, in Mexico also they've done so much. Brazil, they have invested billions. So as of now, they have invested money in all these countries without using a single weapon. So in the coming future, in 25, 30 years from now, we are going to see our kids learning Chinese for sure to move forward. That is where the trend is moving towards. So
Hmm.
yeah, this is why I did
Okay,
Africa.
that's an interesting take. Some
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, population decline in China. It's actually not going to be as powerful as the economists thought." But you think it's going to be pretty important still?
No, I think so. The population control doesn't even matter in today's world. In today's world, it is like who owns whom. Like Nigeria, an example. I am going to build you a brand new airport. All right, I'll build you the airport for free. That is $500 million. All right, but it is not US dollars anymore. It will be valued in the Chinese currency, in the Chinese yuan or Chinese yen. Sorry, whatever it is. And
Hmm.
you don't need to pay me that money. It is 15 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. You know, all these countries are already doomed. They cannot fucking even build their own highway. We know that. It's like, no, we are your friends. In fact, now it's been 15 years. You can't pay us. How about you give us access to those resources? And then slowly and gradually, they get access to a lot of iron ore and all the raw materials they need. And they have been doing this so beautifully. And that population control is all just the media that is feeding us. These guys have slowly and gradually penetrated like a spider, making its web around the world, and nothing can stop them, man. Nothing. And given that the countries like BRICS are there, if you look at BRICS, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, all of them have coastal line. You see, Brazilian, the huge coastal line. Russia, on
Hmm.
the other hand, is holding the entire resources to supply gases and whatever natural resources. It has the biggest landmass in the world. Okay, China, the biggest coastal line and the cheapest production in the world. South Africa, the coastal line. India is the coastal line. So anything that moves around in the world will be moving through these countries right now. The global south literally means the global south because these are the people that are working. You have to see that the West has moved over from proof of work to proof of stake. They are now living on the wonders and living on the work that their ancestors did, and hence you can see the high inflation and people not working and seeking help and government support. But here you have billions of people. In BRICS alone, the total population is 4 billion people. Now those 4 billion
Mhm.
people can just self sustain and they can self live. If they produce, they themselves will eat it. They do not need to go anywhere else. So they themselves have become like a superpower that has come across in this world. And yes, US dollar will not disappear for the next 50 years. But the trend will start shifting towards who holds power on the other people without using a gun. Before they said a pen was a mighty sword, mightier than a sword. That has moved over to who has capital investments in different parts of the world. Yep, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Mm.
What was the easiest country to spend Bitcoin, and what was the most challenging country to spend Bitcoin?
Easiest country, obviously, I would say El Salvador. But thanks to El Salvador's Bitcoin Beach project, that is a Bitcoin circular economy. Various such circular economies have opened up in Guatemala, Costa Rica, Honduras on an island called Roatan, South Africa, Brazil, Peru.
Mhm.
So when I went to such communities, yes, I could live in the community and buy my pizza to my toothbrush to my car wash to my haircut with Bitcoin. So yes, these circular economies are popping up. Apparently now there are like some 30 attempts out of, and some live, some don't live. All start as an NGO effort because you cannot start a circular economy without giving Bitcoin to people. So it's a conscious efforts towards making a circular economy, and we are moving towards it. So I think so. After that, Costa Rica was really nice. They have had this new feature for their wallets, where you can receive Bitcoin and immediately convert it to mobile money. It comes straight to your bank. So Costa Rica was really nice for that. I think so. Mexico also, Banco Azteca lets you buy Bitcoin, and Banco Azteca lets you
Mhm.
receive Lightning on their application. I'm not pretty sure. I was there last time, and this is what I read on the news. Ricardo Salinas. Mexico was
Mhm.
amazing. Like Mexico, I did 7 cities. I did Puebla, Merida, Guadalajara, Puerto Vallarta, Querétaro, San Miguel in the Mexico City, and I was able to use Bitcoin everywhere. In like 2 or 3 places in each city. So not everybody is using it, but there is a community, and you could do P2P trades in all these countries. That means I can move around in any country in this world, and I can convert my Bitcoin to cash.
Okay,
Yep.
so Mexico's pretty easy. What
Yep.
was the hardest country to spend Bitcoin?
I mean, Haiti was really difficult when you do not speak that language. It gets really ridiculous, man. Brother, I'm not kidding. I'm a runner, and when I was running in the downtown, I had, in metric terms, I think so, there was garbage for at least 1 meter height. There was garbage on main roads. Like it was disgusting. Like when people do not have that basic needs covered, Bitcoin will not help them. It's the Maslow's hierarchy of law. You get your basic needs covered. Haiti was difficult, I
Right.
think so. While I was crossing the Congo jungles, because I took a route which turned out there are no roads, and I couldn't use my Bitcoin there. My US dollar worked, but only US dollar that was printed in 2017. Anything prior to 2017 was also not accepted in those Congolese jungles, because those
Hmm.
people thought that the money that is printed before can be fake also. So they just wanted money that
Right.
was 2017 and post
Or
printed.
newer.
Yes,
Yeah,
only.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, makes sense.
yeah, man.
So you were in the jungles of the Congo?
Yep. Yeah. I was crossing Central Africa Republic, and dude, they molest everybody there, man. Like if you're crossing the jungles, every time there is a decentralized toll tax. That means the person is just charging money. They charge you from $3 to $5 because you're a foreigner. So I was like, Central Africa Republic is really tough. Let me just go through Congo. I have to just cross the Bangi River. I crossed the road. There was a bus waiting. I took the bus. I reached to the next stop, and turns out there is no more buses. There is no more roads, and I'm like, what the fuck? You gotta be kidding me. That means only bikes go around on that. So that means you're going through the jungles. So you're on a bike, and you think you will catch the bus in the next town, but the roads are not even there. It's like the land is soft. It is fertile land. When it rains, it destroys all the roads. It took me 9 days to cross the jungles of 1,400 kilometers. 9 bloody days. 1,400 kilometers. That I would say, like in United States or in Mexico, you would cover that in 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours, top a day. Here it just took me 9 bloody.
150K a day is not doesn't sound too bad by African standards, I guess.
No, but like, no, 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 no. But I cannot see. Congo is the only part where I face this trouble. Whereas in Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, Malawi, Mozambique, they have spectacular roads. You're traveling at 60, 80, 100 kilometer an hour. Here you're traveling
Hmm.
10 kilometers an hour because this is not even a road. It's like a pathway for people to walk and you're riding your bike on it. And every new city I reached, I had to take a new bike guy because the way forward, the only that guy knew. So movement, yeah, the movement is so difficult. Like I was just writing about this for Cuba, my dear friend. Since I'm writing my book about it, and I was just writing this. In Cuba, people, it's a communist country, right? So a foreigner would pay $25 for a bus ticket, whereas a local person would pay 50 cents. Okay. Uh,
Hmm.
but the local person cannot go there because there is no fuel for their buses. And a foreigner can go because a foreigner can pay $25 using his credit card. He has to use his credit card and he cannot use his Cuban pesos to buy this ticket. So he has to use dollars. So only the people who can pay $25 for a bus ticket can move from one city to another city. And an average salary of a Cuban person is $20 per month. So now a person cannot just move around freely. So either you restrict the man's free will to speech, free speech is gone. You have taken the movement away. You are just like practically living like a potato in that little piece. And this is how the country controls the riots and revolutions or anything as that matter. Yeah, man.
Hmm. And so you're a runner because I guess for reference, your Twitter handle is running on Bitcoin, running with Bitcoin,
Yep. Uh,
and it's I guess it's a play on words because you actually enjoy running.
yep. I really enjoy running. I just feel like running cleans my head and I get to have much more clearer thoughts. And sweat is the best drug in the world. If you're not sweating, you are not able to experience the maximum potential of your existence in this world. And
Hmm.
running was something that got me into traveling, and then from traveling I got into Bitcoin and so on and so forth. So I feel running is the base layer of everything. And run with Bitcoin was just so that I can keep running in all the cities I go to and all the countries I go to, and people can run along with me who want to run. But turns out these crypto people are like night owls. They are not morning people. They like to live in the night. So these humans used to not join me. It used to be like a father running behind his child trying to collect them. I'm like, come, come, come. So I hosted 124 Bitcoin meetups in over 40 countries. So I got to meet people in these countries on the ground, right? So I used to invite them to come for a run. No, they were really happy to go have a beer rather than coming for a run. So yeah, run with Bitcoin generated like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, man.
That's cool. And I know sometimes there's running clubs where you pay a little $5-10 fee. Did you ever manage to do that with Bitcoin?
Man, no, I did not manage to do that with Bitcoin. I think so. Running was more personal, and I was used to invite people, and I did not end up using. That was a good thing, and that would have been a good video. Now that you tell me, that was nice. Yes, there are a lot of running clubs on every city, but I think so. I was really just tied up with just fucking finding the crypto people, man, just to gather them around. Like it was a really challenge, like going into a country. So basically, Africa, there was no textbook or yellow pages or chat GPT telling me, like, oh, yeah, this is a crypto community. Go there, meet them. I had to do this
Hmm.
by using Twitter, Telegram, and word of mouth and just finding people. So I was really caught up with finding these people and average every yeah, I was on the constant move. So yeah, I missed out on that opportunity.
Yeah, let's talk about communities for a second. So, you at this point, you probably have a lot of theories on what makes a strong community, how to build a community,
Hmm.
what makes a successful community. Could you speak to that a little bit?
I think so. Successful community depends on the people, and the people. Step one should be people are really in love with that city or that village or that town wherever they are. If the person is in love with that village or city or town, that person will give his time to the community and will help the community grow. But
Hmm.
since with the globalization now, that we have a lot of foreigners moving around and they move around to a new city and everything, and they feel the vibe, they feel get connected. But then you just see people leave after a year or 2 years or 3 years, and that doesn't help in building a community. I think so. To build a community, you need to be there for like long, low time preference, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. That is something that
Right.
helps, because that's when the core is set. That's when the ethos are set for the community. And there are multiple communities, man. I would say uh, communities turn out to become cult as they keep growing up. Religion, I would say military is the biggest cult in our world, because that's how you
Hmm.
brainwash people. And as that we have seen in religion for various people. And similarly in crypto also, I've seen this. There are Ethereum people, Bitcoin people, community, let's call them community. And same is for yoga, or same is for hikers, same is for runners. It is a sense of belonging that a person gets by being with a certain set of group of people. It is where you feel connected, because we humans are social animals, and our social reach goes about to 50 people. That's it. We are not bound to be connected to 5,000 people, as the social network says. It is not social network that we have in today's world with Facebook or Twitter, or this is not even social network. It is just social blabbering. It is not a network. You do not have 5,000 friends in your real life. You just have 16,000. You picked up my follower count. No, no, I don't know 16,000 people. How many do I talk to? 10 people. That's it. 15, 20. And that's where, and now, yes, you are part of that grander community. Yes, I'm part of the community in South Sudan, in Argentina, in Dubai. Yes, I am part of the community, but am I a community member, or am I just a part of your WhatsApp Telegram group? What is my contribution to the community? A community grows because of something called proof of work, where everybody is actively trying to make it grow. As I think so, community would be your building society where you're living in your apartments. Those are the people who can help in building a next new better community, because those are the people who are staying there long, and those are the people that you will interact more. I think so those are your real friends that you can find in your building apartments or in your golf estate, than finding them on the social network. It is by being in person is where the community grows. Yes, we can yap online and everything, we can do that, but the real feeling, the sense of connection, comes when it is in person. So if you love that city, you would definitely make strides towards making the community better and contributing rather than just taking from the community. So it is like you need to keep giving. If you are giving, then only you will enjoy the joy of receiving, creation and consumption. And in our today's world, as you can see, we are a consumeristic society. The Keynesian economics has asked us to consume at every single step of our life, and we just believe in consuming. We have forgotten the process of creating. We just know how to go to Amazon.com and buy. Yeah, man.
So you
Hello.
must be in a lot of WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups at this point around the world.
Yeah, but like I don't like. I just like, yeah, when I need to verify some information, yes, I will pop into the group to verify the information before I go forward. So yes, I have an access point of information rather than people having BBC and statistics.
That's
Yeah.
cool. So
Yeah.
you finished the journey. I think you said back last November, last December,
Yep, exactly. 8 months ago. Yeah.
8 months ago. And so what's the next thing?
Man, I went through a lot of learning and a lot of understanding of self. And finally, I convinced myself to write the book, which is the biggest challenge. My way forward will come after this book, because this book will generate various opportunities, which I am really optimistic about. So I'm writing my book about the journey. It is about a
Hmm.
300 pager book, about 75,000 words. and I'm just sitting down and writing my book and getting the message out of how manifestation works, because people talk about it, but I am a living proof of this. I mean, everybody is a living proof of it, is because everybody somehow is what the person secretly desired to be at this current moment. And 90% of the world does not get to do what they want to do because they are tied up by financial or family. They're just tied up. They cannot think forward. So this book is just to share with people about, yes, Bitcoin gives you freedom of speech, freedom of money. Noster came in, so there is freedom of speech now. And as you can see, we, as an Indian national, I was tied down by these rules and regulations of immigration to seek a visa before I could go forward. Well, I am a hunter, I'm a settler, and this is how we humans moved around the world. But now, since 1960s and 1970s, we are bound by these visas to protect our land. So it just shows with you like how the countries and the economies are functioning around the world, and how the countries are falling apart, and how the IMF is bailing them out and devaluing their money. Like every country is getting devalued. And yeah, man. So I'm writing this book as of now, and I'm just seeing how the book comes out. And on the side by side, as I said earlier in the conversation, I'm working what we have a team that is working on creating Bitcoin content in 5 regional languages in India, because India has 27 constitutional languages, so out of them 5. So we are making content about what is inflation, what is Bitcoin, what is money, what is gold, on the basics in 5 languages, to just see what curiosity it can strike in a common man. So these two things I'm working
Cool. Yeah, 75,000 words is a long book. That's a
on.
lot of work.
Like sitting on one place is a lot of work, brother. Like just sitting on one place and to get your monkey mind calm is such a challenge. And in this process, you're trying to be rational with your life, but you're also trying to use your gut feeling about how you are feeling. Because in this age of noise, where there is constant social media infecting, playing with your life, you do not even have time to listen to yourself, and you have forgotten to feel. You are just doing because it is the right thing to do. The basic gut feeling has been put to the side. So I am trying to find a balance between being rational, that is to write the book in 300 pages and not 700 pages, so that is me being rational, but so that the essence of the book is not gone, so my gut feeling is also alive, and where the person is able to live vividly rather than just reading another tale from book. The person is able to feel that emotion, because it's not a Bitcoin book that I am shoving Bitcoin up your throat. I am just showing you what is happening around the world. It is just your decision to see whether Bitcoin is an answer to your problems. And if not, at least you know savings is an answer. What do you want to save your money into? It is your choice. So, yeah, that's where I'm heading.
Hmm.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of the visas, I guess we got to mention that real quick because My Latin Life, we help people get residencies. We're basically a full scale immigration firm for Latin America.
Mm.
What were some of the hardest countries to get visas? And maybe you have like a quick story to tell. I'm probably from Africa, maybe Latin America. Actually, give us a Latin America story. Did any
Mhm.
of the Latin America countries give you some trouble when you were trying to get in?
I would say this: as soon as you have an United States America 10-year B1 B2 visa, all the countries open their doors for you. Mexico, Guatemala, Salvador, Nicaragua. Nicaragua, I had a little stop. They asked me to do a paperwork, but Nicaragua is like Nicaragua. It's another communist country. So I would not call that a problem. I think so. All the countries, all the way until Costa Rica, Panama, Honduras, all gave me visa on arrival. Cuba, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Haiti. Everything was visa on arrival. Only I would say if you go down into the South American region, Venezuela, I had to go back to my country to apply for the visa. So hence I did not do Venezuela. Brazil, I had to apply. They said there's an e-visa, but no, it doesn't work. So I had to apply that from India. And Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Argentina is e-visa. Chile, I think so. What happened back then? I had to apply visa. Bolivia is on arrival. So you see, all these countries are on arrival if you have a US visa. I guess Paraguay, yes, Paraguay wasn't there. And there are a lot of people moving to Paraguay for residency now, given some tax laws. I
Mhm.
haven't looked more into it. So yeah, these are all the countries I'm pretty much summed up. Yeah.
Okay, so because you had the U.S. tourist visa,
Huh.
pretty much all good.
Yep. US visa helps a lot, man. US visa is amazing. US visa is like something great. So, like you guys help with Paraguay too?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, nice. What are the charges? Can I just ask if it's it okay to ask? Tentative.
Um,
Or
well, it's a lot easier if you have visa-free access to Paraguay. If you're
okay,
from one of the countries that has visa-free Paraguay, as an Indian national or a Chinese or someone that doesn't have visa-free to Paraguay, you need an invitation or
okay,
you need to invest. So it's a little bit trickier.
okay. So, which is the easiest one?
You mean easiest path to Paraguay or easiest country for Indians, or what do you mean?
No, easiest country for getting a residency for Indians. Yeah, pretty much.
For Indians, I think it's El Salvador because I think El Salvador is one of the only countries in Latin America where Indians have visa free. I think maybe Colombia too. I'd have to
And
look at the
Bolivia.
list again.
And Bolivia also.
Bolivia
Yeah.
and Bolivia. But yeah, El Salvador is probably the best one, and obviously the one that would make the most sense for you as the Bitcoin guy.
I really want to get a residency in Mexico. I really would love to do the paperwork. What is the minimum requirement? Some salary slabs or something?
Yeah, you got to have you got to hit the financial requirements.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Typically you apply from your home country or wherever you're a resident. So I'm not sure if you have any other residencies, but otherwise you'd be applying from India to get the process started. Some
Okay.
people, to help Indians, they do like a job offer thing as well.
Okay.
And I might have some contacts that can do that, but the job offer ones a lot more expensive than the embassy route. So try to swing the embassy route if you can.
Uh-huh.
If not, and you need the job offer, it's more expensive. It might run you like 10K. So
10K USD.
yeah,
Oh wow. Wow. I think so. I will reach out to you. I think so. Once my book comes out, I'm definitely gonna reach out to you before I make a decision. Since we got connected over this conversation today, I will definitely seek your advice before I do anything.
yeah, for sure. If I were you, I'd go to El Salvador. I'd work towards El Salvador citizenship.
Oh, okay. 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 I mean, it's just.
You expressed some interest offline. You wanted a Latino girlfriend.
Oh yeah, definitely that's coming. After traveling around the entire world, I know where. So I love food, being an Indian, and I circle down on two countries with great Latin food is Peru and Mexico.
Mhm.
So one
Yeah,
of these two countries it has to be. So for me, for that to happen, I need to be in the region. So I will come to that region, and we're gonna wing it from there and see, and then jump loops and holes and make this dream turn into reality.
for sure. I would also recommend for you and I guess any other Indian listeners to check out our podcast episode with Saswat. Saswat.
Mm-hmm.
It just came out. He's an Indian national who's living in Monterrey, Mexico. He actually married a nice Mexican lady,
Uh-huh.
and he has a really good attitude towards things. And I feel like you guys should get connected if you haven't already.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's on your it's on your thing, right?
Yep,
Shashwat.
yep. Just type in Saswat
Uh-huh.
Saswat and you'll see it. And
Awesome.
there's a link to his Twitter account in the description as well.
Amazing. Perfect though, man. I'm definitely gonna check it out. But that's nice, man. This is so good to just connect. I like Latin life people. I feel Latin people are much more human. They're still warm. I would say they are still warm, and that family oriented culture still exists compared to the individualistic culture that is brewing outside. So that's really nice to see.
100%. So we'll get to wrapping up. We only have a couple minutes here. Do you want
Mhm.
to share a final message with the audience, where they can find you, all that good stuff?
Definitely, I would say um, study Bitcoin if you get time. There's a book coming, The Bitcoin Standard. That book inspired me. Please read that. And if not, my book is coming. Study and see how deep the rabbit hole goes, as it says in the Matrix. Choose, take a pill. So it's your choice. You're free to do that. And As to follow me, yes, on Twitter or X, my name is or my ID is Run with Bitcoin. On YouTube, it is called Paco de la India. That means Paco from the India. And yeah, these are the two social medias that I'm. And if you're using Noster, you'll find me on Paco, which is a decentralized social media, which I highly recommend people for free speech, as everything starts getting censoring. And yeah, man, keep believing in yourself, man. If you do not believe in yourself, then how do you expect me to believe in you? So it all starts within you, and start and just keep believing and keep doing your best, guys. Whoever is listening to this,
Yep. Manifest it.
yeah, man,
Cool.
definitely.
Well, this has been another episode of the My Latin Life podcast. Again, our guest today, Paco de la India. Thank you, Paco, for joining us. Thank you to the audience for listening. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, maybe it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever, please subscribe to the podcast, like, comment. We put out 2 episodes a week with amazing guests like Paco, and you won't want to miss an episode. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey guys, quick note at the end of the episode here. If you made it this far, you might be interested in working with My Latin Life personally to make progress on your internationalization plan. So, whether the next step for you is getting residency in Latin America, lowering your taxes, choosing the best country, maybe a little birth tourism, whatever the next step is for you, of course, My Latin Life can help. We've helped people in their 20s, their 40s, their 60s, because I truly believe that Latin America has something to offer people at every stage of life. So if you want to become our VIP client, if you want to work with Vance, myself directly, book a call. There will be a link in the description. There will be a small fee for the initial consultation, and we do that to filter out the time wasters and focus on the best of the best clients. But if you're listening to this podcast and you made it all the way through the episode, I know you're the best of the best. But we're ready to work with you. So book that call. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the My Latin Life podcast, and we'll catch you in the next one.